R2, come on, it's just a quick flight. I'll have you back in time for your oil bath, don't worry. Sorry guys, my R2 unit's being a little petulant here. I'm at Waukegan Regional Airport in northern Illinois, and I am flying a T-65 X-Wing in Flight Simulator X Steam Edition. Pretty cool, ain't it? It's a beautifully modeled ship, based off of Biggs Darklighter's ship Red 3 from the Battle of Yavin. Also, a similar ship was flown in the Battle of Scarif, presumably by Biggs. And also another ship flown similar in the Battle of Endor, and I can't recall that pilot's name off the top of my head. So, what is it about this that should make you want to run out, tap on the link that's going to be down in the description, and download this fighter? Well, this thing's fast. Matches speed's fairly good, I'd say, with the F/A-18 Hornet. Might even exceed it a little bit. It is wildly maneuverable. This fighter is a blast to take up and just dance around, because there's not many aircraft that are in this game, whether you're playing single player or multiplayer, that are going to be able to keep up with you if you were doing, for instance, a mock dogfight. Very few aircraft are going to keep up with this thing in a turn. Very few aircraft are going to keep up with this thing in a climb or in a dive. It is... The cockpit probably isn't the most authentic thing we've ever seen. I'm going to jump in the virtual cockpit real quick. As you can see, you've got an assortment of gauges that are designed to make this thing into a working virtual cockpit. You know, I set my altimeter. I've got flaps, landing gear. One interesting little tidbit is that the flaps are actually not controlling proper flaps like you're used to. They're actually controlling the anti-grav system, known as a repulsor system. And that allows you to take off and land vertically, which is awesome. And I will demonstrate that momentarily here. But we've got our autopilot system here, our GPS, radio controls, throttle, stick, engine readouts, vertical speed indicator, heading indicator, Mach indicator, altimeter, you know, all of this wonderful stuff that isn't exactly movie accurate, but it is required if you're going to have a ship that's going to be capable of operating in Flight Simulator X. We've got some more controls over here: master power, startup systems, navigation lights, strobe lights, panel lights, air show smoke, which I'm not going to turn on right now because it's just going to billow behind us. The cockpit is well done from the standpoint of trying to make a working virtual cockpit that works within the dynamics of FSX. Is it movie accurate? No. Is the fighter itself movie accurate? Probably not. Obviously, the laser cannons don't work. I think even if you had TAC Pack, you probably can't make them work. Likewise with the proton torpedoes. So we're not destroying any Death Stars in this. We're not shooting down TIE fighters. But what it is it's fun to fly. It is beautiful to look at. And it's cool to be able to just hop into Flight Simulator and say, hey, I'm flying an X-Wing. You can take this into multiplayer. It works in multiplayer. It doesn't have any performance drag or anything like that. The only word of caution I have for you on that note is that if you're going to take this into multiplayer, be cognizant of the fact that players who don't have the X-Wing downloaded on their computer aren't going to see this as an X-Wing. I flew it in multiplayer, and I had somebody ask me to verify my aircraft type the other day. And I said, I'm flying an X-Wing. And he said, okay, that makes a lot more sense. And I said, well, why's that? And he says, because you show up on my radar screen, the guy's an air traffic controller, as a Piper J3 Cub doing 900 knots at 32,000 feet. Yeah. So be cognizant of the fact that not everybody's going to know you're in an X-Wing. The computers will sometimes be ridiculous, as it was in that case, in what they sub it out for. You might be subbed out for something like a 747. You might be subbed out for something kind of logical like an FA-18. Or you might be subbed in as a J3 Cub. In which case, enjoy being the fastest J3 Cub on the planet. But let's take it for a ride and see what we can do with this thing. We're going to go ahead and lock on the tail. I'm going to go ahead and put full flaps on, because, yeah, we're going to take off vertically. And before I do this, bring up ATC, request
Waukegan Tower, orbit 1 at runway 5, ready for takeoff, straight out departure. Orbit 1, cleared for takeoff, runway 5, straight out departure, approved. Cleared for takeoff, runway 5, orbit 1.
Okay, so full flaps, add power, and you're going to want to pull back on the stick just a touch when you do this. And we're up. As the gear retracts, R2 makes some noise. We're going to apply some rudder and angle ourselves away from the runway. One of the things I recommend is when you're coming off of the repulsor lift is make sure that you angle the nose up a little bit. Because if you don't angle the nose up, you're going to get a temporary sink. Just like that. If you pitch up when you come off the repulsors, you do still slide down just a touch.
Orbit 1, you are leaving my airspace, frequency change approved.
Yeah, you still dip just a touch when you're taking off, but it's less pronounced than. Go ahead and go into the locked spot here. You can see how fast I've climbed. I'm up above the cloud base already. And I didn't cut anything in there. We took off, we got through the clouds that fast. Use your spoiler key to lock your S-foils in attack position. It doesn't seem to affect maneuverability much, whether your S-foils are locked open or not. I mean, you're still getting this ridiculously fast rotation speed. Your maneuverability in terms of vertical and horizontal maneuverability is actually really good in this ship. And you can do a lot of crazy stunts. I'm going to go to the tower view real quick, and you can watch my smoke. At this point, while I'm recording this gameplay, I'm completely unaware of what the orientation of the X-Wing is. I'm literally holding the stick, throwing it left, right, backwards, forwards, hitting the rudder controls, trying to make the fighter do anything. Just to show you the capabilities of this fighter as it's maneuvering through the air, which I think is pretty generous in terms of maneuverability, and I hope you guys enjoy being able to see that from this perspective. Yeah, this thing dances very, very well, as you can see there. So if you're looking for something that's fast, it's agile, because you want to go into multiplayer and do mock dogfights with your friends, or just have the coolest ship on the block, pick up the X-Wing. It's definitely worth it. And it is an absolute blast to take this thing up and fly it. I will include the link to the X-Wing in the description. The X-Wing is available for free, so you don't have to pay for it. It's not a Steam download. The installation process for this is fairly easy, and the process is fairly simple. It's basically you download the ship, export, unzip the downloaded contents, and then move the ships folder into the airplanes folder for FSX. And there's online resources that can direct you how to do that. It's fairly straightforward, fairly easy. Once you get the hang of it, you'll have no problem. But make sure that you don't have FSX running while you do that. Otherwise, you have to close it down and restart it. But always, make sure that you start the game and try and fly the ship to make sure that you installed it properly.